working as our brand. That ask if perhaps a victory if perhaps Professor Ian Fry, you would like to come up first to the podium, and I will give you the microphone as you come, and I will sit down quietly and then start if you take more than your 5 minutes. Is that all right?
Thank you very much. I promise I'll be short. I've heard some very wonderful presentations throughout the day and been inspired by a lot of things that are going on. As a Special Rapporteur on Human Rights and Climate Change, my job is to look at the interface between climate change and human rights. And there are a few issues, and I'm going to bring up 4 issues that make that connection and connect with the work today. First, I want to look at this issue of climate change displacement. In 2021, there were over 21 million people displaced by climate change. Some of those people are crossing international borders, and where they fall through the cracks as far as legal protection is concerned because they're not defined as refugees under the Refugee Convention. So we need to think about them. Second, we've heard discussions about just transition and particularly around the issue of strategic minerals. And we can see that there is a boom in strategic minerals mining. And we have to be aware that there are people affected by that mining boom, and particularly Indigenous peoples. And this is a plea that has been made to me by Indigenous peoples across the globe to ensure that their rights are properly protected through provisions of free, prior, informed consent. The third one is, looking at the governance and regulation of new technologies. And in the debates we're hearing at the COP, we hear about the word unabated coal. The unabated is effectively meaning coal that is not subject to carbon capture and storage. And so that's one of the geoengineering sort of technologies that our world is being confronted with. There are other interesting ones about cloud brightening, other sorts of initiatives that are being considered to lower global temperatures. And we need to think about governance arrangements for those technologies. And finally, I want to talk about the need to protect environmental human rights defenders. We're seeing across the globe a crackdown on the right to protest, the right to freedom of expression. I was recently in the Philippines and witnessed very sad stories of Indigenous peoples and environmental rights defenders being killed, for their right to protest. So in my report to the UN General Assembly, I suggested we need to have an international tribunal to deal with, to prosecute people who do harm against these offenders, because there isn't that right now. So they're just a few challenges to throw out to you, and I look forward to discussions in this session. Thank you very much.
I didn't have to loom in the slightest. Thank you so much. And Ian, Professor Fry, thank you so much for the work that you do as the Rapporteur for Human Rights and Climate Change. That is so incredibly important. You're speaking with a global lens, but we've seen also the fights that you have led in your region, and it is deeply appreciated. I've been told that we are now quite happily joined by Advocate Dr. Victor Mosoti, who of course is the a senior lawyer at the World Bank in international and environmental law. And I will, in the interest of a very long day, simply say congratulations again for all of your incredible leadership that you've shown in the work that you've done racing around the globe in this area and helping to work so hard to push forward this essential set of legal and policy change that is necessary, as you are asked at every moment. Victor, if you would like to give us 4 points in closing and come on up to the podium, you are very, very welcome.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Marie-Claire. A real pleasure to be here. This has been an incredible day, really enriching to make the connections and to learn from each one of you. Reflecting a little bit about what I wanted to say today, what you said earlier on, Marie-Claire, came to my mind that lawyers have not always been on the side of vengeance when it comes to climate change, right? But I think, reflecting seriously on what we've been doing at the World Bank, I do think we are coming close to being on the right side this time around. But let me maybe begin by saying that, I oscillated between, talking about the important work that is going on at the World Bank, and that, you and your different organizations and academic organizations and schools are doing, or maybe talking more decidedly about, the 3 or 4 really difficult legal challenges that we are facing at the moment. And eventually I decided against either one of those two. I said, I'll really maybe talk about what it really is all about. And it's really something that comes down to, it's about the people, right? It's about everything that we do, everything that we've been talking about, all the work that our different organizations do. It really comes down to what are we doing for the poor communities that are suffering the effects of climate change and don't know what to do about it, right? So that's sort of the general theme that I'll structure my remarks around. And let me say that, I grew up in a village in Western Kenya, right? My mother still lives there. I went to visit her last summer. And growing up, there was a little river that the entire village literally used for water for their household needs, for their animals. And when I visited last summer, that little stream did not flow. There was not a trickle of water coming. Now, of course, climate change has to do with it, has something to do with it, but so do things like sustainable agricultural practices. So do things like, poor policy choices. So do things like corruption, poor crop choices, and you can go down the list, right? But ultimately, I don't think anybody can stand here and say it has nothing to do with climate change. Of course it does, right? So what are we doing at the World Bank to address situations like those? I talked a little earlier about the sort of things that the World Bank is doing, right? Ramping up climate finance significantly, right? We had 2 years ago, the Climate Change Action Plan 2021-2025. That document committed us to make sure that 35% of all the money that the World Bank puts across is intended for climate finance. I think we've achieved that goal and more. You would have heard during COP28, the president of the World Bank announce an increase of that target to 45%. What that does is it unlocks $9 billion more in climate finance going forward for the next year, right? So that's one. Two, the previous panel and others have highlighted already the significant effort that MDBs, multilateral development banks, are putting behind the whole notion of Paris Alignment. And we're doing that. Effective July 1 this year, every dollar the World Bank puts into a project, we would have to confirm to our board that that dollar supports and is aligned with the goals of the Paris Agreement, right? That is significant. That is paradigm shifting for an institution like the World Bank that have known for 15 years. It doesn't move easily, right? It is not the kind of institution that you snap a finger and it shifts direction, right? So that is very significant. The third area that I'd like to highlight is on knowledge. Right? So we pride ourselves in being a knowledge bank for the last 20 plus years. And I think there's a lot of good things that can be said about analytics and data and all of that. What the Climate Change Action Plan did was to commit us to work with our member countries to make sure that we are doing everything we can to understand the linkages between climate and development. It was always presented as a trade-off. It really is not a trade-off. You have to do both. And I think we've come to a realization all the way up to our board of executive directors, you have to do both. There's simply no way that you cannot do both. So the climate change and the climate and development reports help us to be able to understand those equities and to be able to guide countries towards making that very delicate decision to pursue both. Let me end with just one other highlight. I mentioned earlier the whole climate resilient debt clauses. These are clauses that have been put into some of our member countries' legal agreements or loan agreements. And effectively what they do is, if there's a trigger event, let's say it's a major climate disaster, it's a hurricane, it's a major drought, what it does is it enables a country to pause debt servicing obligations, whether that is the principal or the interest, right? So that is paused for a period of time to enable a country to deal with the disaster and to be able to have the fiscal space to do that. So there is a lot going on. And I think when you think about what it comes down to, it's about the people. We all have to ask ourselves, what is it that we're doing in that journey of helping everybody to cope with the effects of climate change? So let me end it there, but I want to thank you, Marie-Claire and Marcus, for putting this together with everybody that worked with you. I've known you guys for 20 years. It's amazing what you do, the amount of energy that you put into this, and your ability to sustain it for all this time is wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Victor. I think we're getting to the point where some standing ovations are going to be required. And I will say, Victor, thank you also for raising your river. I grew up in an area of ancient temperate rainforests. And when I was 14, I stood on logging roads as the machines came in to block the road. And when I was 17, I went on a hunger strike for 26 days to save those forests, which are now burning in Canada. And I understand very well policy failures, the legal failures, and the need for people in the end to step forward and do everything we can. So thank you also. I understand about the river. Yeah. I will now turn to our final speaker of the day. And in particular, of course, we're very, very honored to have a member of the judiciary to whom we turn when all else fails. Whether it's at the global level, as Payam is doing, at the International Tribunal on the Law of the Sea, maybe the court will find something, maybe it will not. His clients, I understand, have nothing left but to try. Nothing to lose, as he said in the Laureates Center a couple of weeks ago. So we turn to our judiciary when things break down completely. And we are very, very honored to have Judge Jawad greeted us at the beginning of the day to give us his 4 closing points.
Thank you, Mary. I'll have 3 closing points, but one suggestion. In a room like this, a conference which is very powerful, very productive, with good speeches, very intense, with 16 panels. My suggestion would be that we should have 1 point from every panel and to make it a declaration. We've done that in Pakistan, where we got judges from the world to talk about the environmental protection. As we know, we talk about climate justice, climate finance. We had it 20 years ago, and we all sat down after this. My idea was to have the declaration. Declaration was to create a bench in Indian justice. All judges were from around South Asia and here, and we made a goal of declaration and touch all were achieved. Then we had a conference in Supreme Court on water, and after the conference, 2 days, all penalties 1.9 each, we made out and under the auspices of the Supreme Court a declaration. And then we had another recently an organization that conferences like this, where best people come and they give their best mind. We should capture one language. The declaration will be something. We'll call it maybe a CLGD declaration or Dubai declaration or Middlesex declaration or KMA declaration. If you all agree with me, raise hands. It will be under any auspice. Auspice will be considered by everyone. Thank you. My suggestion would be first is, after hearing everybody since the morning, I was the only person who judiciary from a high national court, and I felt what to say. First is, the most important, is the capacity building for judges on climate finance. As I'm learning from the people from the World Bank and all, the issue is not judges have been trained because judges came to the scene of environment not in Stockholm 1972, not in Rio 1992. They were brought together in Johannesburg in 2002 when they realized that we missed the most important part of the issue. But judges were trained on environmental justice, which is mitigation, not on adaptation, not on climate justice, in climate finance. The time is now that we should focus on, with the help of World Bank, ADB, and all the banks, to have a capacity building for judges. And I can tell them all that there's something because why third would be a capacity building for the regulators. Climate finance is very serious. There's a grant or a loan. In every country, like I'm judge and I've talked about this, every country has regulators, Securities and Exchange Commission, which company is formed, what purpose is formed, what gain should be not doing, what banks are giving loan, central banks. That is, we have now, my one general recently, I directed both of the regulators, State Bank and Securities and Exchange Commission, to have the clean policy. And they did it. Before coming here, board meeting. Third suggestion would be is linking the issue of climate finance and all with the commercial courts. We are part of the Standing International Forum for Commercial Courts based from London, and commercial courts having a next meeting on 21st or 23rd of April. The agenda is the environment and climate change. And I will suggest my suggestion would be all linked together because all the cases of climate finance end up in the commercial courts, arbitrations, mediation, or some kind of a forum where we need to have a role responsible for the. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. That was excellent and brief and clear. And we have our orders now, straight from the judiciary. With that, I would like to especially thank Professor Ian Fry, who is, of course, our UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights and Climate Change. I would like to thank Judge Jawad, who has come all this way to make a very clear agenda for us, and also, of course, to inspire us to keep going. And I'd especially like to thank my very dear old friend, Dr. Victor Mosoti, for bringing forward not just his own life, but also some incredible work that is being done and a partnership that is being rebuilt. And we're very, very happy to have you back with us here in the Climate Law and Governance Initiative. So thank you especially to you and to the new member of your team, Dr. Fabiano and Correa, who is sitting here, who has helped to facilitate this. The main thanks, of course, need to go to the volunteers and the organizers from the teams that have worked here. I will not name everyone here. I will simply say that our program committee has the world's leading climate lawyers on it and more. And they come from all across the spectrum. And we are so, so grateful that you were there. Our team has worked tirelessly, obviously May and Antoinette, also Thalsa and Susan and Tejas. And the entire core of volunteers and hardworking team members and staff here at our host, Middlesex University Dubai, who have been absolutely brilliant, setting the bar so high. I don't know how we'll ever manage to do another one like this again. Thank you to our hosts. We will move directly from this plenary out into the Bali Hall for the very last part of the day, which of course is a presentation of the awards. We're being joined by the students who won the global essay competition online, and a few I understand are also in person. And we also have, of course, the Global Leadership Awards that took a lot of deliberation this year, and we have some incredible winners to announce. And that will flow naturally into a reception and have a chance to all speak with each other. I'd like to call the Dean of the Law Faculty, Tenia, up with me. You would like to say anything as we close the official part?
Just a few words. I was thinking that as an educator and an academic, my dream was to see the campus and the university in general to be at the center of the community. And as a human rights lawyer, my dream is to see law serving social justice from the people, for the people. And I think we have achieved this today, and it was a great day. We witnessed very constructive discussions, very fruitful discussions. We had great minds, bright minds, innovative thinkers, committed leaders, learning from each other. I think this is my biggest takeaway, that we learn from each other. So I know we are running out of time, so I'm not going to waste your time. I want everyone to enjoy the students and celebrate the awards. Thank you very, very much to your team, our team, the organizing committee. I'm not going to name names. We know who we are. We know who you are. And I want to thank all our attendees that are here from this morning, very early morning at 8 o'clock, different time zones that we had online attendees. It was an amazing, really, really inspiring conference. It lasted for very long hours, but we're still here because it was inspiring, because it was constructive, and because we learned a lot. And I hope that the students enjoyed it, and I know that a lot of synergies are born through this day. I've heard a lot of people discussing how we can take that forward. What work can we do together? What projects can we think that we can work together? So that really warms our heart. So thank you, Marie-Claire, for being the driving force for all of that. And thank you to our university. Thank you to our director and Prof. Chancellor Fernandez, who has supported us throughout. And a big thank you to the marketing team of University Dubai, who has gone really beyond and above to turn this campus into such a welcoming place for all of us. Thank you very much.
and others, supported by the Partners for Climate Law and Governance Day 2023. The FA topics included any aspect of law and governance related to climate change and sustainable development. The FAs were also based on 4 themes of the CLG Day at COP28. So I'm going to be announcing the awards just for a second. We will start off with the bronze awards. So we have the Tenia and University of Tension, Algeria, navigating climate change and sustainability, Nigeria's role in international environmental law. We have to close after all the bronze ones are announced, please. Viraj from Ghana, University of Nepal, Climate Justice and Environmental Crimes. Emily Hodgins, University, Miami, USA, Red Class at COP27. Ignacio Vasquez, Torreblanca, University of Valparaiso, Chile. I'm so sorry if I'm getting the pronunciation. Climate litigation, intergenerational justice from the global south. Mohammed Akmalullah Siddiq and Sabine Ahmed, University of Delhi, India. A global tax system, carbon tax system. Obada Al-Bardaq, University of Jordan. The impact of national and international legislation, providing protection for the environment and climate, and analytical study in Jordanian law and international agreements. Pedro Zapio, Vinasa, and Bilom Luis, Nedamaya, Lisbon Law School, University of Sao Paulo, Portugal, and Brazil. Agriculture and climate change, ensuring intergenerational equity at the UN FCCC. Zamari Bahar, Middlesex University Dubai, climate change strategy and action plan, sustainability reflects the governance perspective. My student was to provide, I'm particularly proud. Thank you very much. A round of applause for all of you. And we will now move on to the silver awards. Fernando Diaz Gonzalez and Raul Martinez of Frey University of El Rosario, Chile. The reconfiguration of global climate change governance, the role of the UNFCCC, and its influence in the Latin American and Caribbean region. Bhavindra Singh, University of Rajasthan, Jaipur, charting sustainable path to climate justice, ensuring equity in climate change litigation. Sandra P. Angel Moreno, Alfred Ludwig University of Freiburg, Germany, echoing voices, Amazonia, Indigenous women, challenging global environmental politics. Congratulations on the And now we announce the gold awards. In G. Johnston, Victoria University of Wellington, New Zealand, University of Oxford, UK, International Declaration on the Paris Agreement, Prospects and Potentials, Luca Herrera, European University Institute, France, the application of Paris Agreement to companies under the duty of care, Mustafa Al-Basri, Islamic University in Lebanon, the legal challenges of energy transition in petroleum producing developing countries, legislating stability as a model. Congratulations, all of you. And finally, the Platinum Awards, and again, I'm very proud to say that the teacher, Middlesex University of Dubai, food security and sustainable development policy. For me, interrupting me, Lahore University, Canada, and Exec University, France. How can investors take a dispute with settlement better integrate with climate change regime? Tasneem Binte Sarwar, Bangladesh University Professionals, Bangladesh. I'm sorry, the final winner, Tasneem bint Sarwar, Bangladesh University Professional, Bangladesh, towards the establishment of International Environmental Court, previously the Dean of International Judicial Governance. Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations indeed. The time has now come for the Climate Law and Governance Global Leadership Awards. As Marie-Claire indicated previously, there were a lot of debates, exchanges. It was not easy for the judging panel to come up with this particular list. You will see quite a few draws, which does not reflect this particular element. So without further ado, there are different categories. So I'll be announcing winners for each of those categories. So regarding the Civil Society and Foundation Leader Award, we have a winner and we have an Enviro acknowledgement. Regarding the Enviro, regarding the winners, there will be Solomon Yeo, Jew, Vishal, and the Pacific Island students that then accompanied in a complete capacity. Wow. In her opening remarks, Patricia they talked about urgency and resolve, and I think clearly you've embodied it. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Regarding the memorial award in the same category, and it is difficult to pinpoint his legacy, his commitment, his leadership in just one category. Professor Salim has been the recipient already of many acknowledgements since his unfortunate passing. Literally since the very start of this contest, I was attending yet another one. I have had the pleasure and privilege of having
Now, for the next category, we are the Dean of Law School Award. For this particular category, as is tradition, but very much a beautiful tradition, the award goes to, drum roll, Professor Dr. Mohammed Safi and Dr. Ahmed Khalifa, Dean of the Faculty of Law at Ain Shams University, who hosted the Climate Law and Governance Day last year. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The next category, General Counsel, and we do have a tie. And the award goes to Advocate Thomas Clark and Advocate Mike Strauss. Thank you. And they were right next to one another. It was simply meant to happen. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Sure.
Just a quick special thanks to the teams of both Tom and Mike. In particular, of course, here is Veselina Hararampieva. And online, I understand, is Christina Pack. The award, the second one of which will be waiting in the office when Tom gets back to Manila, goes to their entire department, and I hope it will be displayed with honor.
Thank you. The next award category is for negotiators, and there was a lot of negotiations involved in determining the laureates. And we have again a tie. And looking at those laureates, I think the two words that come to mind, well, it's a bit more than two, would be voice and energy. Actually, it's exactly two. Voice and energy. And you'll understand why as I announce them. First, Advocate France Paris. Congratulations to France. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much, really, indeed.
And Execo, Miss Marie-Claire Graf, Hita Lakhani, Sophie Dodd, and Vina Barakshikan, youth negotiators. They're still in the club. So the reason why I was thinking of voice and energy as soon as I discovered the laureates is because France in particular has such a specific voice and energy. And whenever in plenary, we would see that Switzerland wanted to speak, we knew exactly the kind of energy and the voice and passion that he would bring. Thank you so much, France. Thank you. Very special to all of us. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
And of course, similarly, for the other laureates, the Youth Negotiators Academy that they've created and how they are helping to raise the voice of other youth and their priorities through their energy, through their passion is much appreciated. Thank you indeed, and congratulations to all of them. Now, for the last category, practitioners, we have again a tie. So the two laureates, I'll be happy to announce momentarily, are Advocate Professor Margareta Wawrinken Singh, also for the ICJ advisory opinion. A very dear friend of ours and a very committed practitioner. And the other laureate is a poet, Advocate Professor Payam Akavan, for the ITLAS advisory one. Thank you. Thank you. And that concludes those very exciting, very inspiring awards. And I'll be happy to give the floor back to Marie-Claire.
It has been a long day. There's been passion. There's been incredible intellectual wealth. There's been exchanges, new initiatives launched, projects that were started here coming back to report. There's been such an incredible day. We need to grow this thousandfold. We're starting from 600 to 6,000 by next year, and we're well on our way with the Climate Capacity Pledge. Please help us convince everyone you know who is interested in law and willing to try to help make a difference to join us. We need them. There are 97,000 people registered at the COP, not because we solved this problem. It's because we need everyone to help. And at the same time, it is you who give us all inspiration, especially the young people who take the world's most difficult problem to the world's highest court. But everyone here is part of helping to make a difference. I still have in the back of my mind a beautiful ancient temperate rainforest that is burning. And it keeps me up at night. But I think all of us now and everyone around the world has something like that that is going to be keeping them up at night. And that is the reality that we are trying to change. And it is so worth it. It is so worth it. You are facing down and helping to solve the justice challenge of our century. And it's an incredibly exciting time to be alive. And we need all of you, and again, thousands more. So thank you, everyone who has stayed with us to the very end, like a last survivor's photo in a Cambridge or Oxford college. And thank you to everyone that you will also be able to touch and bring into this circle as it grows around the world. I'm going to give the very final word to our Dean of our law school who has hosted us here, who I hope to see next year, according to tradition. And I will say thank you to everyone for all of your hard work. And thank you to everyone for your inspiration and your insights, and indeed, all of your incredible energy that is going to somehow turn this around in time. Thank you.
What can I say after all of that? What can I say after this great day? We had a great day. We reflected a lot. We thought about new launches. We celebrated new launches. We celebrated new additions. We celebrated the awards. It was a celebratory event, but at the same time, it was an event that it was fruitful, because what I'm really taking with me from today is that climate law is in every area of law. And it's not just in every area of law, it's in governance, it's in government, it's in finance, so it's everywhere. So what we need to build on this momentum that we witnessed today. We need to make those synergies really happen and to celebrate many more solid projects, many more launches next year at the same event. So I want to thank my colleagues from the Climate Law and Governance Institute initiative, for all the work that they have done, especially Tejas and Maeve. We have been working with you guys for over 6 months. Come. Yeah. It was. It was. Talsha, yeah, Talsha, please come on. It was an honor to work with you guys over the past 6 months. You are amazing. And a very, very, hello, come on. A very, very heartfelt thank you to my colleagues at Middlesex University, Dubai, the Institute of Sustainable Development, Mahine Ahmad, Andrew McKinsey. Please come and celebrate. We're very grateful. From the International Bar Association. Lara. Our supporting, of course, Marcus and Marcus from Cambridge, Lara from the IBA. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for hosting this amazing panel discussion today. You gave me lots of thoughts about how to raise awareness. Rachel. No, wait. I was gonna say that. I said that already. I celebrated that already inside, but they were not there to hear it. So a big, big thank you to the marketing department team of Middlesex University, Dubai, who transformed this campus and made it such a warm, welcoming space for people from all around the world. So Rachel, Felicity, under the leadership of I don't know where is Rachel. Slamet. Hey, Ayman, the co-chair, co-host, master of ceremonies, please. I'm jumped away. And of course, we're missing all our my mate, Cody, who we have worked together for ages, and now we're celebrating this beautiful day. And our director, Prof. Vice Chancellor, Sedun Fernandez, who has been supportive and funding us. Yes.
So with that, I would like to declare the 2023 Dubai COP28 Climate Law and Governance Day officially closed. Thank you. Oh, we need one more. One more photo, everyone look. And then enjoy your wine and your juice. Yes. Okay. I'm not gonna have I'll have water. I don't have wine, unfortunately.